Today marks 1267 days sharing lessons to learn and continue to learn with all of you. My hope that these lessons will inspire you, support your dreams, help you achieve your goals, and really empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today I want to really more share my thoughts, perspectives, the things that I'm learning, and specific one topic. And that topic is the greatest block in your life. What is the greatest block in your life? And I think that we need to change that mindset that sometimes we need to fix the problem. It's not about fixing the problem. Sometimes it's just really going back and say like it's a sacred invitation to really to go back to original self. Sacred invitation to go back to original self. It means that sometimes I think that we are fixing the problems, self-created problems, because we're trying to live a life that we who are not. And I think that when we actually pursuing something that we is full aligned with us is comes to us much easier. It doesn't require so much effort. When sometimes we think about you put so much effort and there's not a lot of result, I think that a lot of times we need to realize that it might be that I'm not pursuing the things that it's actually aligns with me. Now everything requires hard work, but I think that sometimes when you do really do something that is aligned with you, even that hard work is uplifting, joyful, blissful, fulfilling, meaningful. I think a lot of times people are burned out because they're just not living who they truly are and trying to fix the problem, whereas the problem is that they need to go back into who they are rather than fixing that problem that was created by themselves. So today we'll share a couple of thoughts that I would love to really look into that pain, into those problems, what we potentially could think about it, what we're supposed to, what kind of perspective we're supposed to have about that, about those blocks in our lives. And I think that number one is that your pain is not random. Your pain is not random. It's a portal. Such a beautiful thing. Your pain is a portal to something better. That means that every single pain could be used for you. And I probably have heard it. Everything what happens is not to you. It happens not to you. It happens for you. If you're actually able to look into that and start asking questions, I think that one thing that we're able to look into your fear. Okay, so that means if I have fear, it might be that other side of the fear there is something that the power that is locked. There's your power hidden in that fear. So when you go through that fear, you're able to get your blessing, your gift, your talent. And there are a lot of times people who are not able to achieve great things at some point they go through that fear and they finally get their blessing, they get their gift, they get their alignment, they get there so many things. So there's a lot of great things other side of fear. So people try to fix the problem, but maybe the first thing what you're supposed to do is really face the fear that we have in life, and that facing the fear will solve byproduct all the other problems that we have in our lives. Because with doubt, I think that we need to understand that um, sometimes we perform not from the perspective of who we are, but we are performing from who we want to be or who we build ourselves to be. Because I think that a lot of times self doubt is that coming to a lot of different places. Like it could be as coming because you actually realizing that this is not what you're supposed to do. There's something else that is something is missing. I think that one of the biggest examples that I really love is that puzzle. That we be putting a lot of puzzles, and then when you understand that your mind, yourself, is a lot of times like a puzzle, and we play with 50 pieces, 100 pieces in that puzzle, but a lot of times what we do, we hide half of ourselves. So that means we're supposed to have 1,000 piece puzzle, but we playing only with 50, maybe 100. So it means that we have capacity to have 1,000 pieces puzzle in our mind, in our capacity, and everything. But because we feel comfortable only with 50 and 100, we're leaving all the beautiful pieces behind. And I think that self doubt is coming a lot of times because we're not tapping into our resources and our beliefs and our strengths and our everything to make sure that we are building the competence and clearing out all the self doubt. It could be resistance, and I think that is resistance a lot of times is the guardian, the bad guardian. not allowing us to really going to become the person that we want to become in a lot of different things and skill sets and character in skill sets. So resistance is a great thing, is a garden. We need to beat that garden to make sure that we're able to become that person that we want to become. And I think that is when you think about any kind of pain or any kind of resistance or any kind of thing that is holding us a little bit back, blocking us, I think that's we're able to ask a question, beautiful question. What is this trying to wake up in me? What is trying to wake up in me? That means that there's something that is in you trying to wake up, and we need to allow that to wake up. And a lot of times, we really need to create some kind of shock to make sure that we're able to wake that person up inside of us. Number two that we need to really look into is that your survival self is not your true self. And I guess it's a very, very important topic. I think that sometimes we pretend to be somebody because that's how we survived for a long time in society, in community, with friends, with the family. Because the the crazy thing is that the most important part is that a lot of times people that that love you the most create mask for you without even wanting it. Because a lot of times parents accept kids because they do certain things because that's what parents admire and that's how they reward based on their perspective, based on their values. And I think that sometimes those values maybe is not the best. Those skill sets, those values, those beliefs, those not the best. And then because of that, I think that a lot of times we learn to think, to believe what our parents believe, and that's why a lot of times we lose who we are just to our parents as well, to our friends, and being able to really always say that I'm exhausted of pretending and really need to find out who I truly am. I think that when we really figure out who we truly are and really act from who we truly are, it's much easier to achieve the things that we want to get. Because I think that a lot of times we self sabotage things only because we act from our pretending mask rather than who we truly are. Because I think that authenticity is very attractive. So when a person is authentic, is very attractive. It attracts everything: success, motivation, everything. There are so many things that attract just from authenticity itself. But when you are pretending, there is no authenticity. So that means that I think that a lot of times we block things because we are not true authentic ourselves. Number three, self sabotage is a sacred protector. Self sabotage is a sacred protector. This is a very interesting and topic that very probably philosophical topic and an idea is that a lot of times we do not pursue massive things. We are afraid to pursue success, achievement, or something in between because when we finally achieve that, we might lose something. So what I mean by that is that when we finally succeed, it might be that you will lose yourself, you will lose your friends, you will lose something else. It might be the little thing, okay, when will finally achieve the success? I will lose something. And then it could be subconscious, well, you're afraid to lose something that's because we need to understand that if you want to go up, you need to give up. If you want to go up, you need to give up. That means that sometimes you need to give up things to really go up. But if you just really follow you, and really that just elevates you and really who you are, the thing that you will need to give up is the things that is actually holding you back, and succeeding will never take away anything. But I think that in our mind, we can trick ourselves, believing that success, achievement, progress will something take away something that we want. I think that's one thing is that very common is that people have a lot of friends and friends amazing, they are amazing good people, and you don't want to lose them because now you see your vision differently and you take actions differently. So that means pursuing different vision and taking different actions, that means that you might lose your best friends, your association. And people don't want to lose association because they be being part of the association for so long, and it's tough to go through the season to real separation. And I think that is again one of the things that I think that's why so many people are held back where they are rather than pursuing that success. Number four is the path isn't becoming more, it's becoming real. And I think it's very, very important to understand that really everyone is like onion. You probably have heard that sometimes that there's layers, and understand those layers and really remove all those layers that aren't you or weren't you, and being able to understand, okay, this is who I truly am. And when we are becoming truly real, authentic, I think that we're able to really start moving into reunion with yourself. Because it's interesting that I have heard that when something happens in your childhood that you're not able to deal with your knowledge at your child, because of course uh, your capabilities as a child is very limited, and that means a lot of times it splits the identity. There's a surface level that survive with that, and there is pretended you, and there's that real you, and this real you is a lot of times is covered, buried in I think a lot of times when to become that real you, sometimes going back into the moments when potentially you split yourself into two different identities to protect yourself from that environment, and being able to really bring those together again as two pieces. And I think that is very, very similar like puzzles, because you have 1,000 pieces in your mind, in your soul to really play with, but you're playing only for 50, 100, maybe 500, and saying, yes, let's bring that together. Let's really work with all the things that I'm capable of rather than a half of it. I think this is very, very powerful. The last one I want to mention is that your liberation is encoded in longing. I think that is very, very important to understand that the things that we really want the most. Sometimes we subconsciously want. Sometimes we just don't know what we truly want. We want love. We want truth. We want wholeness. We want meaning. Sometimes we believe that we want some certain things. We believe that we want a car, but that car is a lot of times we want to have respect that the car will allow us to have, or some kind of achievement, or the office. So that means I think that sometimes we need to understand that what is the foundational thing behind that wanting that one thing. But and I think that a lot of times people achieve that thing and they realize that this is not what they truly wanted, because at the end, when they think about who we truly want and what we truly want is love, truth, truth, wholeness. And when you really pursue that, at that moment you have peace, we achieve success, we align, and really it's much more peaceful to really pursue that. When we pursue something that is not truly what we truly want, but we think that that's what we want, and that's where it's very important to reflect and say like, is that what I want or not? Because I think that when we pursue something that is not what we truly want, it's just a wish, or maybe we just believe that we want, because we never reflected on it properly. I think that is a massive block, because when we will need to do the right thing, we will not do the right thing because we always have that second guess, doubts, fears, or anything in between that is holding us back. But when we actually pursuing the truth, love, the meaning, the wholeness, the peace, inner peace, and those things that truly matters, our values, and they will never quit on those. We will never quit on those most important things. I think that people quit on things that they truly thought that they wanted, but they didn't want it. But if you start looking into foundational things, what you're able to pursue, I think there will be no blocks whatsoever. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.